around the world. Uh, where is it? The Netherlands. We're going to check in with the Netherlands. We're going to check in with Germany. You're seeing a lot of late night hosts coming out of the woodwork after America decides to suspend indefinitely Jimmy Kimmel and cancel free speech. Welcome. I'm Rob. How are you? I like to joke about the news because in many instances, the news can be a joke. Sometimes it's not a joke, like Massachusetts. We put on the ballot Massachusetts to legalize psilocybin. Where's my story? That's not my story. Where's my story? Where's my story? Oh no, it's way back. Here we go. Massachusetts on the ballot, legalized psilocybin. Was it last year? I believe it was last year. That's crazy. This 1 year hasn't even been a full year. It seems like 4. But we put on the ballot. It was not passed. But now lawmakers are maybe considering different proposals that would expand access to psilocybin. If you don't know what that is, it's the magical of these things, which are medicine. Microdosing can treat PTSD. There's a lot of things we haven't even found out. I mean, the ancient ones, the sages, the wisdoms, the sorcerers, the shaman, the vibe coaches, the gurus, all them people. Have known for years that this is a medicine. You just got to figure out the correct microdose, and it's a medicine. It can help healing. It can clear things out. This is well known by people in my field. And the rest of the world is starting to catch on because, I don't know if you know this, America had this huge drug war, which they've been losing. Did they lose? Did America, did they lose the drug war, or are they still losing it? I don't know if we've lost it or not, or if they're still, I know they're still fighting it in some states, but it's a losing battle. It's a losing war. They've lost. And with that comes ballot measures and voting and proposals and all these political words where potentially we could actually let science find out the health benefits of these things, just like cannabis. The government has a patent on cannabis. Don't believe me? Look it up. On the health benefits of its antioxidant qualities. So it's weird when they schedule it as a Schedule 1 drug, because cannabis has known medical benefits. That's why the government has a patent on it. A Schedule 1 drug, if you don't know, means it has no medical use whatsoever, and it's highly addictive. That's what the government scheduled it as. So if you're ever wondering, was the drug war worth it? Was it all propaganda? Was it a war on poor people and people of color and the marginalized? Yes, it was. Old tricky Dick Nixon. He said, how do we criminalize my dissidents? Nowadays, they just blatantly call for their removal from their job. But some good news. And there's some more good news. There's some funny, interesting news. I didn't know Germany had its own late night Jimmy Kimmel. I knew the UK had quite a few different late night shows. Unfortunately, some of them spill over into America. James Corden. Oh, James Corden. Listen, as much as I didn't like James Corden and his karaoke in the car, or whatever they called it, I think it was called SUV sing-alongs. I'm pretty sure James Corden did this bit. It was called Sing Along in the SUV, or it was called the SUV Sing Along. My Cadillac backing track. Was that what it's called? I think it was called Cadillac backing tracks. Black Merlin. Oh, Black Merlin. I'm about to play German late night show host Stefan Raab. You're in Germany, right? Do you know of this guy, Stefan? I'm trying to read it from the back of his show. Stefan Raab. I'm not sure if you've heard him, but he chimed in on the world news of Jimmy Kimmel losing his job because corporations wanted to make a sacrifice to their dear Supreme Chicken Supreme leader, So Black Merlin, I'm interested to know if you've heard of this guy, if you watch, even if you watch late night. I know there's a whole section of the population that doesn't watch late night. See, when I was growing up, right around, what was it, 11 p.m.? I forget what time. I knew you had to stay up late. And you get the clicker, and you make sure it was on whatever it was, CBS, to watch old David Letterman. Loved David's monologue. Remember the top 10? So I'm going to play some of that for you. I'm going to play a late night show from Germany, a Dutch late night host, Dutch comedian and satirical television presenter Arjen Lubach made this parody about Disney banning Kimmel's show. This parody I'm going to play for you is nuts. In fact, I'm going to have to like bleep it in real time. I'm going to have to pull down the volume because I don't know. You know what, Black Merlin, you're in Germany, right? I know TV in the UK is different, and Ireland. I've seen their commercials, I've seen some of their shows. I know they get away with saying a lot more on like regular mainstream TV. Black Merlin, in Germany, are they allowed to say like much more? Like you think, it's so funny because when people in America witness stuff outside the American bubble for the first time, I think it's shocking to them. But watching this late night show host from the Netherlands, was jaw-dropping because the Disney parody that he does says very explicit words. So much so that I don't even think I can let it play on YouTube. I'm going to have to try to self-edit. It's insane. I'll give you a little clip of it. Or not a little clip. I'll show you. This is the beginning of the whole new Disney brought to you by... It's hilarious. Like, I'm going to play this for you, but it is so hilarious. But there are some points, not this one. We don't talk about Jeffrey. No, no. I mean, this dude's fire. I would watch him if he was here. They had Ice and Aladdin. They did so much stuff. This late night show host, and I encourage you to find it. It's in the Good News subreddit on Reddit. Michael O, good to see you. Sorry, I missed your comment. I microdose almost daily. And you could be, we're talking about, so we're going to get to this. We're going to get to the late night shows standing in solidarity with Kimmel once he was sacrificed by the corporations. Because remember, what did we learn yesterday? Corporations, they're not neutral. They serve power. They only exist in the interest of profit. So they're not here to be your friend. They're not here to make nice with you. They're not here to protect your speech. They just serve power. And what happened? Brendan Carr, the FCC dude, went after them, said we're going to look into licenses. You saw old Donald Dump, old ADH Dementia Don, tweeting about this. Where is it? Now he's calling for Seth and Jimmy, two total losers on fake news NBC, that ratings are also horrible. Then he says, do it, NBC. So you see the president right now calling for all the late night shows that have critiqued him, that have made fun of him, which I would just suggest. My life advice is just don't watch the TV. If it affects you this bad where you're calling for people to be fired because your feelings are hurt, which that's all this is. And my other thing is act accordingly. If you don't want to be the butt of a joke, stop acting like one. So there's my vibe coach advice. It's a private network. They are for who they want. Oh God, this is so stupid. I'll address this like once, and then I'm gonna move on to the people who live in reality. This is a free speech issue. The First Amendment, just so you all are aware, so we have a level playing field, because there's some people that like to show off how dumb they are. Free speech protects you from the government infringing on what you can say. This is, I don't know if you know this, the president, who is the government, saying to fire more people because they critique him. The FCC, the governing body that, when I worked in radio, the FCC governs you. They have guidelines, safe harbor, what you can say, what you can't say. They can pull your license. They can not renew your license. The FCC, Trump's man, a Heritage Foundation, it's a far right-wing think tank where they fund studies to make the public not not sure of what is what, like that ain't no rest for the triggered, which clearly he's talking about Donald Trump, because this dude is up at all hours of the night calling for anyone who's talked about him to be fired, not in a nice way. You remember, he needs a safe space. So the FCC, we played this yesterday, said we shouldn't be renewing their license. These broadcasters should fight back. They should pull them off the air, all because, you know, he made a joke about Donald Trump. We played it. You know, I have the audio. We played part of the joke that Jimmy Kimmel said. This was what triggered the president to call for the firing of people. So crazy. So crazy that people really don't understand what happened here.
He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction.
So you have the FCC threatening to not renew licenses. You have the FCC advocating to pull content off the air. FCC, a government body. And you have the president calling for the firing of people who haven't said nice things about him, who made him into a joke. And with that, because Nexstar and Tengu, all these stupid corporate names, because they have mergers, just like Stephen Colbert, his contract was kapoof. He was let go, and he's going to be able to serve out the rest of his contract. And remember, it's not just Colbert, it's his writers, the people working there, the staff. A lot of people lost their jobs. Colbert, again, because his parent company wanted to do that merger, the Paramount merger, because these billionaires, the Ellisons, wanted to own more media. They sacrificed Colbert to appease the baby king, the Mantram king. So they sacrificed him. They said, we'll just get rid of him for you. And the merger goes through. Now you see another merger needing to go through and sacrificing Kimmel. So the reason it is a free speech issue is because this is, again, some people are dumb and they don't understand that Donald Trump is the president, not my president. Remember when people used to say that? That's so funny. Not my president, but the president is calling to fire people for their speech. And the government can infringe on that. And the corporations are doing it to appease him so his government will allow their mergers to go through. That's as simply as I could break it down. I know there are people that go, well, he wasn't funny, or ratings. They're repeating all the things they've heard Fox News and him say. But that's not what's going on. Because if it was, and just telling you, as somebody who worked in media for a long time, if your ratings aren't good, and you're suffering, just like the last radio show I tried to help in my town, and they didn't want to hear it from me. If your ratings aren't good, they'll just let you go when they get the ratings. They don't wait for the president to say, fire him. They don't go, now's a good time. So, now that we've cleared that up,
Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that?
I have noticed that, except this one does age. And we will be drinking fascist tears here. So if you're a fascist, we might just ignore your comments because, you know, we want to get through today without people bragging about how dumb they are. And it's, you know, it's not your fault. We try to teach you. We try to help you. Also, they need to release the files. Don't you agree? It's been long enough. Why would you, if you're not in the files, or if you're innocent, or you don't think anything, you know, that, well, let's just say, if you want to really protect victims, protect our neighborhoods, and you want to, you know, make sure all those who did whatever they did were held accountable, you would release them. Hiding them is a weird thing to do, wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you say? So, release the files. I love that Cracker Barrel. Is this the new one? Is this the new Cracker Barrel thing? It's interesting. Ooh, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, we're not forgetting, folks. We're not forgetting. So, there has been a groundswell because of...
Your brain's cooked.
I know, but don't say that about them. Some of these people, their brains are really cooked. They think it's called...
Azerbaijan and Albania.
And it's not. It's not. So, let's see who's up in the chat. It's a whole lot of dummies in this country. Michael DeSalvio. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people that are like this, you know? I found this meme and I thought, how appropriate. How appropriate. Oh, and it's sad, it's sad. It's sad. Because we could have like guaranteed vacations like they do in Europe, guaranteed health care paid for by billionaires' taxes and some of our taxes. We could have all these cool ass things, but there are some people that I don't know if they don't get it or they just been propagandized so hard where they're like, yeah, you dummy. I didn't like. Well, here, let's focus on the good news. There are some people coming out saying, like, I didn't like Kimmel, but this is clearly like the government dictating to companies to get rid of people they don't like. Why do you think at the same time Kimmel made a joke about Trump, Brian Kilmeade on Fox was talking about involuntarily doing stuff to people without homes, and he's fine. And that is an FCC violation, just so you know. I worked in radio for a long time, so I could tell you like stuff that you have to hit the button on, and that would have been one of them. But he's fine, because it wasn't criticizing Trump. Ooh, by the way, more good news. I linked this down below. Upgraded electric four-wheeler takes wheelchair users on an off-road adventure. I saw the story today, and I want to show it to you because this. Oh, I don't think I have the article. I think I only took a picture of this, but the article is really cool because it talks about how this gives people. Oh, did I not pull it up? Good God. I didn't pull it up. Sorry. I wasn't prepared for this one. But I wanted to show you this because if any of your friends or you're in a wheelchair, this is a cool thing. I think everybody that is in a wheelchair should automatically get one of these. Again, by our guaranteed health care because we tax billionaires into extinction. Once they get over $999,999,999.99, there's so many numbers. Then they're just taxed at 100% rate. Like everything over that 999 million, you never become a billionaire because you have enough money. You'll never worry about heat, food. Like what else do you need? And we know what these billionaires do, Little St. James, they're buying islands. They're doing creep stuff, man. They're doing creeps. They're not doing good stuff. That's what a lot of people are saying. That's why there's a whole thing of files. So I say we guarantee healthcare for everybody in America. And then if you got to be in a wheelchair, you immediately get one of these too. So you can go off-roading too. I think that's fucking awesome. Why wouldn't you want people to have that? All right. We got to talk about Kimmel. Kimmel, the $3 billion, almost $4 billion man. Now, Culture Base was tweeting this stuff out. But, hey, what's up, Jacob? Good to see you. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they measured this. I like to try to double check stuff, but outside of like stocks and, the cancellations, which that's what I was saying, the article, I got a couple of articles. Here, I'll pull up the article. But it turns out Disney's going to learn a hard lesson, because when you're just serving power and eradicating, allowing a regime to infringe on our rights, because again, that's what happened. The president is a very sensitive man. He's a fragile, fragile man. That's why if anyone says something not nice about him, that's why if you know somebody who's maggot, they can't say anything bad about Donald. They can't. I don't know if they physically can't, but they won't. They refuse. They're obedient. They're very obedient. They stay so obedient to Donald, no matter what. When he says, even when he lies and he says stuff like,
And the fact that 300 million people died last year from drugs, that's what's illegal.
When he says stuff like 300 million people here in America died last year from drugs, which, couldn't happen. Because there's only 340 million people here. So, that would be like the Thanos snap of drug deaths. Maybe Donald watched Infinity War and he got confused because, he's got the ADH dementia. But so like that couldn't happen and people will still defend him. They'll defend Donald Trump, even when he says a bold face and a bald face, because he's kind of balding.
And the fact that 300 million people died last year from drugs, that's what's illegal.
300 million people. And not one reporter was like, sir, so you're saying like 3/4 of America died last year? I just wish any reporter would ask him, yes, I too lost all of my family last year from drugs. Like, and these people will not only defend it, but they'll just figure out a way to make it okay for him. Because, you know, he's got to be in a bubble. He's got to be protected. He's extremely sensitive. So, with him calling for the firing, again, where is it? Now he's calling for Seth Meyers and Jimmy Fallon, which I've never liked Jimmy Fallon. In fact, when we were going to interview him on radio, my show sent me out to get food for everyone. So I had to listen to it on the air because I was like, let me please interview him. I promise I'll not be mean. I'll just make fun of him. So I don't like Fallon, you know. I didn't like James Corden and his sing-along in the SUV. What was it called? I think it was called the backing tracks in my Cadillac. When he would sing with the celebrities, you know, they would put the car up on a truck bed and then somebody would pull them along and they would pretend to drive and sing songs together. God. James Corden kind of reminds me of Rosie O'Donnell. For those young folks, Rosie O'Donnell used to have a daytime talk show, and that broad, any excuse she could have to sing, she would. And that bugged me because I was like, Rosie, just do a segment every day where you just sing so we know when to tune out. But don't like make everything an excuse for you to be singing at the desk. And that's like Corden. I think he wanted everyone to see how great his voice is. But you didn't hear me call for the firing of that man and all the people that work for him. Do you believe in American jobs? I do, even though he's a UK guy. Oh, is that the immigrant that all you people are mad about? He took a job? Did he take David Letterman's job? I don't follow along too much. But now you see the government, the American government, calling for the firing of more late night, as the president referred to them, total losers. God, think about that. Could you think about that for a second? We got a president talking like a sixth grader. Total losers. He also kind of knows about as much as a sixth grader. But the Atam Maui, pirate content, screw Disney. That's what a lot of people are saying now. Oh, and you guys got the Clippy light show. 300,000 people, not million. Clearly misspoken. Here we go. Light show's about to defend it. No, see, here's the thing. Don't give him credit. He's a dum-dum. And they do this all the time. Again, the only reason I know this isn't misspoken is because Pam Blondie did this too about 6 months ago. They had a meeting where they said, we saved this many lives from fentanyl, or they said something. And the numbers were so high, but this is what they do. It's called propaganda. And I'm here to help you identify it. I got my deepfake glasses on, so I can identify propaganda, deepfakes, AI, bots, trolls, Azerbaijanians and Albanians. I can identify it all. I found these in the parking lot of a Restoration Hardware, and I stumbled upon them, pick them up, and I can identify all of it. So I appreciate it. And here's the thing. If you got Clippy in your profile thing, I looked that up. That's what? An avatar protest, which I like that. I like that. I think people feel comfortable doing protests like that. So good for you, Light Show, doing your part. Against what? It's the Louis Rossman dude. It's the avatar protest. See, and that's cool, man. You know, I might even not be for it. I forget what it is. I looked it up. The Clippy profile protest. Because if you see these, if other you people see these, change your profile to Clippy. I'm serious. Louis Rossman. What's going on? Known consumer rights activists made a video as their profile pits to Clippy for what though? Against companies and their anti-consumer practices. Yeah, there we go. See, I can support that. Baba Ganoush O'Reilly. It's illegal to hurt Trump's bitch feelings. It is. It is now illegal. Why doesn't he just do an executive order? The ironic thing is like a lot of people think he's like tough and a macho man, but think about like people who can't, take a joke. Do you think they're like tough or, have you seen Joe Rogan lately? If anyone pushes back on him and how mad he gets, the veins start popping out. I'm sorry, or polio Rogan. The government did cancel Jimmy, and they're calling for the canceling of Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers. So, guys, you should pay attention. I know some of you just aren't paying attention, and you read your article from deepspace9.net, and you're like, I love this blogger. He always posts little emojis at the end, makes me feel good. I know you're getting your news from the duckduckgoose.com. Because you're trying to avoid those paywalls. But listen, you got to pay attention. This is the president on record calling for the firing of people that joke about him. It doesn't get much clearer than this. This is why we have the First Amendment. So people can go, no, you can't fire me. And your FCC, Brendan Carr, the FCC head, can't threaten their licenses. He can't threaten them, which he did. But it's okay. Some of you guys may be new to America, new to the First Amendment. Spread the word. Owen West. Appreciate you. I spread the word almost every day here. So hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. But we got to talk about this. This solidarity. The solidarity felt across the world. Don't forget, if you support him, you're supporting Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. So, be careful who you support. I don't want to see you boomers posting Facebook things about protect the kids or hold people accountable. You elected for Jeffrey Epstein's best friend to be in charge, okay? And he's in the files. And we keep asking him. We say, release the files. And then he moves Ghislaine Maxwell to a lower security prison, to a camp. It doesn't even have walls. I hope the kids in Texas are safe, because Ghislaine can just do whatever she wants. And then I realized, oh, he's a dum-dum. A lot of people saying he's a dum-dum. No smarter than your average fourth grader. A lot of people say that about him. A lot. That's why they're losing their jobs. And then I realized he might have thought when we said release the files, that he thought the PH files. You know what I mean? Not the F-I-L-E-S. Not those files. He was like, I'm doing what you said. I'm releasing the PHILES, the files. So we got to clarify. Release the Epstein files, FILES. Not the Epstein files, PHILES. So don't forget. All right, let's talk about this. A lot of people are canceling their Disney Plus. There are reports. Hold on, do I have a sound for this? That's pretty good. That's as good as you're gonna get for a news thing. I'm running an amateur show over here. Lay off. What do you think I am, R.M. Brown? And the news reports are saying Disney's lost almost $4 billion. Who knew he was worth that much? Look at him. Just want to pinch his little cheeks. Just want to say, look at you. Boop. I want to boop. Okay, let's go to more news. So, in solidarity across the world, I wish, that's how free we are. I can't even get, we're going to take a fucking time out for a second. You know what? You know how free we are? If you want to watch the UK TV shows, because they have better ones, Dairy Girls, People Just Do Nothing, This Country, you can't even do that. Because you have to get like BBC America, which doesn't play that stuff. It's so irritating. So if you get a VPN, allegedly, if you get a VPN, some people have been saying you could figure this out. Not going to go into how. But did you know that in the UK, everybody that has cable, they pay like a cable thing, gets a free BBC iPlayer account so they can watch their actual UK shows online at any time. Any folks from the UK in the chat? Where you from? Leave it. Oh shit, my comments were paused. See, it's interesting the people that say, like Goderson says, Kimmel is trash. Glad he's finally off the air. It's funny. Some people will throw away their rights just because somebody that they don't like what they said. to quiet somebody that hurts their feelings or makes them say stuff that has to self-reflect. It's funny. Don't be like Goderson, okay? He's willing to throw away his First Amendment. He's willing to let the government tell you what to say and to think. The government thinks that they have the power to tell you what you can say and what you can think. Welcome to the new America. And you know what? Across the world, where there are countries much more freer than we are, much more free or freer. I don't know. I feel like my 6th grade grammar teacher would be like, it's more free, you D-bag. You don't put 44 E's on the end of free and then put an R. Anyways, sorry, grammar teachers. More free. And I'm going to play some of that for you because this is hilarious, okay? I'm going to play, first we'll play the German late night show. Actually, no. I'm going to play the Dutch one first. This Dutch late night show host, Dutch comedian and satirical television presenter Arthur Lubach made a parody about Disney, and it is insane. I did some screenshots because I'm going to play the audio for you, so get ready, folks. And if you're sensitive, like the president is, if you need a safe space, this ain't the audio for you, okay? You swipe up or swipe left, or I don't know how you get out of here, but go somewhere else. If you're sensitive to being teased or satire kind of coming after beliefs of yours, you're not gonna like it. You're not. And this was on like Dutch late night TV. I was blown away. I'm gonna try to bleep some of this stuff, but remember, you think America's the land of the free where you could do and say stuff? This went as hard as South Park almost. And it was a late night show guy. I couldn't believe it.
Dus de show van Jimmy Kimmel is van de buis gehaald door Disney.
Okay, I'm gonna read. I'm sorry, unless you speak Dutch, you're not gonna understand. So I'll read some of the subtitles. But when they get into the Disney parody, it's in English. So it says, hold on. So he says, so Jimmy Kimmel's show has been canceled by Disney.
Jimmy Kimmel is van de buis gehaald door Disney, omdat Donald Trump...
Because Trump and a helpful bureaucrat...
met de hulp van een behulpzame toezichthouder bezig is om iedereen...
are silencing everyone who dares to criticize him. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is Dutch comedian and satirical television presenter Arthur Lubach, who I already like this dude. I gotta say, I like a lot of Europeans. They seem to have a sense of what's what, you know, freedom, workers' rights, class consciousness. I like a lot of them people. I do. So he says, you know, Jimmy Kimmel's show has been canceled by Disney because Trump and a helpful bureaucrat are silencing everyone who dares to criticize him. If you speak Dutch, and I'm just repeating it, I'm sorry.
Trump
has broken the will of these companies. And he's got a picture of Trump's FCC guy, far-right Heritage Foundation Project 2025 guy, the head of the FCC right now, Brendan Carr. He's got a picture of him up.
Echt totaal in zijn zak zit. En zelfs het...
Even a giant like Disney is scared of him.
Grote Disney is dus als de dood voor Trump.
Everything has to be exactly how Trump likes it. This is how the world sees America. We're not the land of the free folks. I hate to break it to you.
Moet nu gaan zoals Trump het wil.
Everything has to be MAGA now.
Moet MAGA worden. En als je naar de nieuwe
And when you look at Disney's new plans,
plannen van Disney kijkt, dan kun je dat ook wel een beetje...
You can sort of see the results. So here is when this starts up. And I'm going to do the frames for you because it's just frames. Some of it is animation. They did a great job on that. I got it handed to Arjen Lubach, his writers, the whole team who's standing in solidarity with Jimmy. You can find this on Good News subreddit, on Reddit. So I'm going to have to bleep some of this while I pull these up. But here we go.
Our nation is changing in order to ensure the continued provision of high-quality works to our audience. The Walt Disney Company acknowledges the necessity of adapting our content.
We bring you
a whole new Disney.
Belle, you're so hot. If you don't hang out, I'll probably be taking you.
Oh my God. So did you hear? Hold on. So then they did Hakuna Matata. These dudes are good. These dudes are good. I'm trying to stay along. I'm trying to keep the images up. Hakuna Matata. And it says, oh my God.
There are news stories to be told.
News stories to be told. They go, now it's Sleeping Beauty. I'll show you the picture of the next one.
Oh, Belle, you're so hot. If you weren't my daughter, I'd probably be dating you.
It's the old father in Beauty and the Beast looking at holding Belle going, oh, Belle, you're so hot. If you weren't my daughter, I would be dating you. There are people who voted for this man who said this stuff about his daughter. And these same people claim to want to like protect kids from pedophiles. This is one of those times where it's sad, hilarious. It's like it's so sad that these people think they're serious and they're deeply unserious. You gotta watch this. Oh my God. Listen, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. As soon as I get big enough so I can play this stuff like they do on late night. So hit subscribe, hit the notification bell.
Stories to be told. Oh, Belle, you're so hot. If you weren't my daughter, I'd probably be dating you.
And then they have Aladdin and Jasmine on a carpet, and they're flying right here, and ice pulls up and rips them both off. This is Disney's new plan. Dutch satirical late night show host put this parody together. It's funny. Hold on, let's get to the next frame.
Songs to be sung.
That was so good. As somebody who used to write parodies in radio for a long time, not considering we don't talk about Jeffrey for a parody song, I feel like I swung and I missed. I struck out because this is brilliant.
New sequels to timeless classics.
Oh, hold on. No. This is going to be the last frame, but I didn't take pictures of these. Now they're doing the inside. Is it called Inside Out or Inside? Inside Out, where they zoomed in on Donald's head and they went into his brain. This is fucking hilarious. Okay. Now they're at Aladdin. I mean, at The Little Mermaid.
Now I'm gonna grab you by the pussy.
Oh, I gotta. Okay, so I gotta not play some of this.
Where is your pussy?
Okay, I can't even play some of this parody. So the Little Mermaid one, they do the clip of when Donald said you could grab him by the. So I'm gonna skip Little Mermaid because then he goes because he's looking at the Little Mermaid and he said, "Where is your?" Anyways, brilliant.
To be heard.
Bambi, trans women are women.
Oh my God. So Bambi's mom looks at Bambi and says that, and then they show her in the background roasting over a Spitfire. Oh my God, this is brutal. Now they're at the Olaf. It's Anna saying, Olaf, you're made of snow, right?
Made out of snow, right?
Yes.
So that means climate change isn't real.
Making art.
And then they have all these parody images: Lady and the Tramp Stamp, Snow White Lives Matter, High School Musical, Pew Pew. You know what I mean? Some of the stuff I wasn't gonna show. And then J.D. Vance Live. He's the new late night show host.
Our company great again.
They have The Lion King and Rapunzel, Tales of a Trad Wife. This is so good.
With brand new adventures.
And then it goes to Cars, and it says Brendan, and then Cars underneath, because, you know, Brendan Carr is the FCC dude.
I'm gonna go suck Donald.
I forgot that's the other part I gotta bleep. He says, I'm gonna go suck Donald Trump's. And you can imagine. And this was on late night in the Netherlands, and you thought our late night was anything besides a tame? Holy smokes. So, oh my God. Sorry, my comments were posed. Carl Hankey. Do people call you Mr. Hankey? I don't know about trolling. Trolling usually means jokingly, and the MAGAs usually actually mean that BS, so not really trolling. Yeah. Zaza Wizard, 1969. Ooh, good year. You know, if you rebrand as conservative, you might get more viewers. Here's the thing. For those who have hit subscribe, have hit the notification bell, who have been with me for the year and a half I've been doing lives, I'm very grateful. I'd rather do this than grift people and lie to people and make our communities worse. No matter how small, when I was doing this for 2 people, there were some days I would do it and nobody would tune in. There were days where I would have 1,000 people here, and whether people join or not, this has to be talked about. So that's why you see a lot of people. That's why you saw Tucky Tum Tums, old Tucker, Swanson, Mick Late Night Dinner, Carlson go from, you know, kind of liberal to full on, you know, Bud Light's the enemy or whatever he does now. I don't know. He actually came out in defense of Kimmel too. Said the government shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be telling you what you can say. I want you to think about that for a second. You know, I'm going to plant the seed. Think about whether or not it's the file you like that's president. Should the government? That's, you know, why a couple hundred years ago they wrote a free speech amendment that the government can't come after you for what you say. But clearly they are right now. This is what is happening in real time. And it's amazing the amount of people that will excuse. I never thought, like I was, you know, you always hear those history propositions. What did you think you would do in history? And I just never thought, like for me, it was always bewildering. The people that you see in those photos in the 60s during the civil rights movement, those white people screaming at little black kids that just want an equal education. I never understood, like, what kind of monster could you be to yell at a kid for wanting to go to school? And now I'm seeing it in real time. There are people that will defend this. They'll say, well, he was trash anyways, good riddance. And it's like, to the government saying you can't make fun of the president because he's a sensitive dementia Don PDF file that's best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. You know, like you can't say bad things about the president. You can't joke on a late night satirical comedy show about the president, or he starts saying, you know, do it, fire Jimmy and Seth, NBC. That's the government calling for people to be fired because he is a joke, because this president is an absolute joke. He's a grifter. He's making billions off of his public service, off the seat of the White House. He's taking jets from Qatar. And he doesn't want anyone to say anything besides like, good job, amazing job taking that jet. Nobody took a jet before, but you did it in such a fine way, and you'll spend that taxpayer money in such a great way, making sure it's not bugged and mic'd. So it's just kind of stunning to me to see in real time, you know, these people could just find new and creative ways to obey in advance. Like, that's really the stunning thing. I like creativity, but I don't think I like the creativity where people are finding new ways to be obedient in advance of, you know, their free speech taking away. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Carl, he showed a clip of Trump not caring about Kirk and about the $200 million ballroom. Yeah. I play the audio right here. This was the joke that got him fired. He didn't even talk about Kirk.
He's at the 4th stage of grief, construction.
Which was a well-written joke, you know, because everybody was like, this is a weird way to grieve. You know, the next day he was at some match dancing to the YMCA where he's jagging the giraffes. And then when asked about it, when given a proper opportunity to mourn, you know how he demanded everybody mourn appropriately, like it was North Korea losing their leader, and the government was like, you better mourn in a fashion that the government approves of. Like that was a real thing, and a lot of people were like, "That's right, that's my Republican Party," and it's like, guys, this isn't about party anymore. This is about an authoritarian state telling you how to mourn properly. And while demanding people mourn correctly, this dude asked, "How are you doing? How are you holding up? How are you mourning?" And he was like, "Oh, did you see all the trucks? They're starting on the ballroom." And that's what Kimmel joked about. It's amazing. And a lot of you don't have to keep putting in the comments, but a lot of you are proving that you could be obedient quicker than other people. Hey, Timothy, good to see you. Smart people hate Trump.
Smart people don't like me.
Timothy, I got that clip. I got that clip. You and I, buddy. Good to see you.
Smart people don't like me.
Smart people don't like him. I wonder why. Some people say that if you have to be around somebody who's dumb, does anybody have a dumb friend? Don't put it in the comments. But you know that dumb friend. And it's just tough to be around them sometimes. And it's interesting to hear him say that. President Reagan's here. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm going to put Iron Razor in timeout because he's walking a weird line. And Raygun Timothy, I don't know if you guys were here. I was playing a Dutch comedian, did a whole Disney parody in solidarity with the $4 billion man, Mr. Jimmy Kimmel. And they did a whole Disney parody, making fun of Disney for being obedient in advance after being threatened by the FCC, Disney, Sinclair, Nexstar, and Nexstar is trying to buy Tango. They're trying to make another merger go through, and they need Trump's approval. So they were like, "We'll sacrifice Kimmel to the court, to this chicken supreme leader." And they did a hilarious, in solidarity, this Dutch satirist did a hilarious thing. And now I'm going to play a German late night show for you, who also stood in solidarity with Kimmel.
Do you think we're babies?
They do. Donald thinks some of them are babies. Here, I'll play another clip of it, because you got to hear this. What is the one with Belle? Beauty and the Beast. You got to hear the Beauty and the Beast. If Carpe Diem. Bootlickers are gross. It is. I like this question. Dude's Jules, why do you care if Kimmel is that great? He will get a new job with another company. So he didn't lose his freedom of speech because I don't understand. Well, Dude's Jules, let me explain it. The First Amendment protects us from the government saying you can or can't say something, okay? The government infringing on your freedom to speak. And what has happened, I don't have the tweet from a couple months ago. Well, I do. I can find it. But now you see the president saying NBC fired Jimmy and Seth. A few months ago, hold on, let me find it so I can explain this to you. And if you don't know, the president is part of the government, just so everybody's aware, because maybe they're like, how does the president factor into this? So this was a few months ago where he says, I love that Colbert got fired, because remember, there was a Paramount merger, and to appease the president to make sure, because he's a spiteful little baby man, and he won't approve these mergers, he has the power to say don't approve the mergers. To approve the merger, they let go of Colbert. They're going to let him serve till the end of his contract, and then he's gone. And they said they're getting rid of the late night show because Donald Trump had a problem with Colbert. A couple months ago, isn't that weird? He could predict the future. He said, I hear Kimmel is next. Isn't that weird? How the president, maybe he's reading tarot cards. Maybe he's like fancy pagan Ronald Jellybean's wife. And he has like an astrologist, an astrologist in his White House predicting stuff, because a couple months ago he said, I hear Kimmel's next. And then he had his Brendan Carr, his little dog on a leash, the FCC chairman, threaten Sinclair, Disney, or Sinclair, was it ABC? I forget. Again, the little corporations under the Big Daddy Corporation. The FCC said, we're going to look into taking your license away because you weren't mourning correctly, because you are a joke show and you made jokes, not about anything besides the president, which you're allowed to do in America. That's like the crux of America, is that you can criticize the government without fear of the government saying, we're going to pull your license and we want you to be fired. So that's the First Amendment, just so you know. And now what you see is the president saying, glad he got canceled. Now I want Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers gone. So the whole part of the First Amendment is that the government can't tell corporations and can't tell you that we'll pull your license, we'll make it much harder for you to broadcast, and we won't let you broadcast if you don't get rid of the guy who jokes about the president. So that is quintessential free speech issue, First Amendment. You can look it up. I suggest you do some reading on your own, but hopefully Dude's Jewels. And again, Dude's Jewels, if you're going into Kimmel's contract, the joke he made, whether it was funny, ratings, none of that has to do with this. Again, guys, I need you to pay attention to what happened. The FCC chairman threatened the station's licenses if they didn't do something about Kimmel. And they had a merger, so they said, we'll pull him off the air. And that's what happened. The government, the FCC, didn't like what he said. The president and the FCC chair, who the FCC chair works for him, appointed by him, does his dirty work, just like everyone in his administration. They will do anything he says because you cannot critique or disagree with him or you get fired. And the government, that's the government, FCC and the president, threaten them. And corporations, power only serves power. So corporations aren't neutral, they just want profits. So they said, oh, if we can't do this merger and they're going to pull our licenses, which they can't do. They could have fought this in court. They could have stood up and fought, but they don't care about you, me, Kimmel. They don't care. It's amazing. I got to break it down this simply because people really, and that's what, that's the really bad thing about this right-wing media funnel that people get sucked into, because I've listened to them and they repeat shit. I hear it in the comments all the time where they talk about, oh, his ratings were bad. If his ratings were bad, Jimmy would have been fired at a different time. Okay. I'm just letting you know how it goes. For someone who, well, I've seen people get fired for ratings. They don't do it after the president calls for your firing. Okay? But hopefully you understand. Rick, I'm going to have you in timeout for 24 hours. Because I don't want to hear that shit here. Okay? And for the maggots, the M-A-G-A-T-S, the people who support this guy, don't get upset at me. I don't want to see you subscribing and notify, I don't want to see your comments about, oh, you quieted me. Right now, you're into silencing people's free speech. So if it happens to you, you should be like, well, my ratings weren't good. The ratings on your comment wasn't good. It's amazing how many people are just obedient. Do you guys love having these troll accounts just to be obedient? Serving your master, the chicken supreme chief. We drink fascist tears here. My grandfather fought in World War II, and like the long lineage of Antifa or anti-fascists, as you might not know them, because, I can't blame you for what you don't know. That's why I'm trying to teach you. But the other anti-fascists, the other Antifa seen here, U.S. soldiers fighting the fascists in Germany, we drink liberal tears. Liberal tears too, because if you scratch a liberal, a fascist bleeds. So we drink your tears. Because we have all these people, these troll accounts. I just want to play some FDR for you. You know who FDR is? Does anybody? Anybody? Anybody know who FDR is? Thank you, Michael. Okay. So you know who FDR was. He was a president. Here's something he had to say about fascists. I would like you to listen to this.
We believe that the Nazis and the fascists have asked for it, and they're going to get it.
It's amazing that some of you are supporting an authoritarian government that is selling you an ideology of who is us and who is them, and trying to label anti-fascists the enemy of the state. Now, if you don't know this, a government won't announce to you that they've become fascist. They announce who their enemies are. And the enemies would be anti-fascist. Because again, if you've heard people talk about Antifa, they're just saying anti-fascists. Republicans do this dirty little trick where they take a word and they make it mean everything that scares you. And people fall for it. It's sad. But Antifa is not anything besides a reaction, a answer to this. Once fascism takes a hold, then you have anti-fascists. And I did this the other day. I'll do it again because a lot of you guys are dumb. That's what they're saying, not me. They're saying it. They're saying a lot of you guys are dumb. Fascism, let's go over the definition because you need to understand this. Because if you're calling people that aren't in power, who are resisting the authoritarian rule of a guy who wants everybody who doesn't talk nicely about him to be fired, if you're calling the people who are resisting that fascist, you don't understand what fascism is. And here's a great learning opportunity for you. Fascism is a far-right, authoritarian, ultra-nationalist political ideology that emphasizes the nation over the individual. I would say in this fascist movement that we see, it's not emphasizing the nation. Yes, he says, make America great, but what is he really focused on? Himself. Have you ever seen anybody wear a hat that says, I was right about everything? So really, and that's why MAGA is maggots, because they don't believe in America. They don't care about the amendments. They don't care about any of this. You saw it with the soy farmers. The soy boy farmers who were crying last week on video. We played it here. Go back and watch the video because Donald Trump's tariffs are making all their farms collapse and they're going to have to sell them to like Bill Gates or, Larry Ellison. I don't know who's going to buy them up. Some wealthy people. They didn't realize that when he says, we're MAGA, he just means you're surrounding me. I'm the center of it. He doesn't care about the laws, the rules, the country. And this is just, you judge people by their actions. I know a lot of people go, well, he said this. That's what the farmers last week, the soy boy farmers on the video, they said, Donald Trump, you said you loved us. That's not a joke. That was the audio I played. Video is last week. And he said, now we need to see the fruits of your love. And I said, these poor guys, they really thought a president came to town. They really thought a politician said, I love you. And he was going to care about their farms. He don't care. So fascism regimes are typically led by a dictatorial leader. A dictatorial leader featuring a one-party state and forcibly suppress opposition. J666, thank you for the $2. And the brilliant comment, you too can sponsor an American for 10 cents a day. Let's just take a moment because that comment is absolutely hilarious. And that's how the world kind of sees us. I'm going to play the late night German TV show host in a minute. But I just want to say, J666, I think you won the comment section today. Because that is hilarious. I might have to steal that from you. You too can sponsor an American for just 10 cents a day, folks. We're all going into medical debt, educational debt, house debt. Credit cards have never been at a higher time, and the credit ratings have never been lower. Remember, credits are all made up. The credit ratings all made up. 1989, just like stock buybacks. Stock buybacks, Reagan made them legal again in 1982. Stock buybacks do nothing but artificially inflate the stock price, and companies are spending hundreds, if not trillions, billions, trillion, I don't know. So thank you for the comment and the super chat. Very funny. Okay, so where were we? So fascism, because I got to tell, because it's funny to me when people say you're the fascist. I'm like, me, a guy who has no political power and says like you shouldn't fire people because they made fun of you. That's fascism. Okay, you're adorable. Do you have to tie your own shoes, or do you get somebody to help you with it? Holy shit. The ideology combines elements of nationalism, militarism, and economic self-sufficiency to prepare the nation for perceived conflict. A perceived conflict. There's so many of those. They're sending the military to all of our own cities. And then let's play a little Carlin. That's like mandatory reading, listening, watching George Carlin.
The FCC, an appointed body, not elected, answerable only to the president, decided on its own that radio and television were the only two parts of American life not protected by the First Amendment to the Constitution. And why did they decide that? Because they got a letter from a minister in Mississippi. A Reverend Donald Wildman in Mississippi heard...
Isn't that weird that the Reverend's name was Donald too, complaining? But he was a Reverend, not a president. So...
something on the radio that he didn't like. Well, Reverend, did anyone ever tell you there are two knobs on the radio?
I love Carlin. Hold on, I'm gonna go past the applause.
Of course, I'm sure the Reverend isn't that comfortable with anything that has two knobs on it.
This is an old joke, and it's still relevant today.
But hey, Reverend, there are two knobs on the radio. One of them turns the radio off, and the other one changes the station.
Carlin. That one guy, do you need attention? Poor baby not getting attention. Oh, well, you know what? He likes the freedom of speech being eroded, so we'll just quiet him for 24 hours. Try to come back tomorrow, one guy. That should help with his attention needing. So you're making the point that all of our presidents were racist, not just Donald? Okay, maybe I should stop reading the comments. Yeah, I heard that today. That censorship is us being able to take the remote and change the channel. That's what you want to tell the president. But here's the thing. For those who think along those lines, like you remember, Carlin's a comedian and philosopher. This isn't the president being able to change the channel, as I showed you the tweet before. Because what happened? Colbert, Kimmel, and now what is he calling for? Again, the government. Free speech. The First Amendment protects you from the government, the president, saying, you can't say that. I don't like that. You should be fired. You need to get out of here. And the government, the FCC, saying, we won't renew your license unless you take care of the president's problem. That's a free speech issue. And now you have the president, and this is the only problem that that joke doesn't work on. He can't turn off the TV, number one. I mean, I don't think he can read, so this is how he gets all of his information. But number two, he's changing the channel. He went from Colbert to Kimmel to Jimmy and Seth. Soon it's just going to be Fox News. What's his name? Greg Gutfeld on every late night channel. So Donald Trump changes the channel. He goes, oh, I like this guy. Oh, I like this guy. And because he's got ADHD dementia, you know, he won't know that he's a different dude. The funniest part is Tucker Carlson. I don't know if you've heard what he said, but he defended Kimmel. And he's speaking out against the government. Let's see if I can find it. I don't want to play Tucker Carlson because I do not like him. And I think he's done a lot of damage. In fact, you could go watch my old videos. I make videos about Fox News and CBS News, the lamestream media. I make videos about all of it because I hate to break it to you. Most corporate news isn't your friend. There's like 5 companies. Hold on. Where's my other article? I have another. What was it? The WG. The strike's going on today. There's some smart people down there that are talking about. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. They talk about how at one point we had like many different companies that owned all the media here in America, and now there's maybe 7 that are the parent company of all the media stations, which is a bad thing. But as much as I thought Tucker Carlson did harm, like real harm to our community, that's why I loved the clip of Rutger Bregman, Dutch historian who wrote this book. Hold on. The guy who wrote this book was an unaired Tucker Carlson episode, but the audio got leaked. And Rutger Bregman called him, Tucker Carlson, a millionaire mouthpiece for billionaires, because he was on Fox News, which is owned by Australian Rupert Murdoch. And Rupert Murdoch, has admitted in articles and interviews that he could have at any point said, stop talking about the election being whatever. And he never did. And he didn't. And he allowed it to keep infiltrating because he makes money off being divisive and separating the country. I wonder if I can find the audio of the people. I don't know. I didn't save it. I didn't think I was going to play it. I'll find it for tomorrow or the next day. But let's see if we can find Tucky Tum Tums. Tucker Carlson, The Independent. Tucker Carlson says Trump administration is using Charlie Kirk's killing to trample First Amendment. That's your boy. That's your boy. That's your team. I don't like him. I think he's bad for your health. These billionaires. Okay, so what do they got, a quote from him? You hope that a year from now, the turmoil we're seeing in the aftermath won't be leveraged to bring hate speech laws to this country, Carlson said Wednesday. And trust me, if that does happen, there's never more justified moment for civil disobedience than that, ever. And there never will be, Tucker Carlson added. Because if they can tell you what to say, they're telling you what to think. There's nothing they can't do to you because they don't consider you human. That's a Tucker Carlson quote, and I can't believe it. I think that's the first time I've ever heard him in defense of like the working class. So again, Tucker said, you hope that a year from now, the turmoil we're seeing in the aftermath won't be leveraged to bring hate speech laws to this country. Because, the right, Joe Rogan, Polio Rogan, Slow Rogan, who are the other dudes? Tucker, trying to think. There's a few of them. The Tim Pools, they all do this fear mongering. The UK has hate speech laws. Elon Musk, you see him right now tweeting about how many people arrested in the UK because of their speech. But that's happening right now, right here. But it's not hate speech. They're just criticizing the president. They're joking about the president. And Slow Rogan is pretty damn quiet about it. Slow, what do you have to say? Hold on. Why is he being quiet?
Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? And Jeffrey, as a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you.
Do you think we're babies?
Is that what he said to the girls? So Tucker saying, and trust me, if that does happen, there's never more justified moment for civil disobedience. This is Tucker Carlson calling for civil disobedience. And he says, and there never will be, because if they can tell you what to say, again, this is a Tucker Carlson quote, because if they can tell you what to say, they're telling you what to think. There's nothing they can't do to you because they don't consider you human. It's amazing to see, who will stand up when you got to put the party lines aside, because that's what's really destroying this country. There's too many people think dunking and owning the libs is cool. I don't know. There's like even people with their avatars and names, you know, they're like owning the libs, the triggered liberals. And it's like, guys, who are you trying to impress? 8th graders? Is that why you like Jeffrey Epstein's best friend so much, Donald Trump? Is that why? Because you think that's cool? I don't know. Who's spamming? Oh. Well, it's okay, because the maggots don't like free speech anymore. If they disagree with them, you know, they said Jimmy Kimmel isn't funny, his ratings are bad. Nothing had to do with, like, he can say what he wants, you know? The president doesn't get to tell the FCC guy to threaten their license. And the president certainly doesn't get to say, NBC, this is who you fire next. Which, that's what this is. He's telling people who to fire based on what they say. So, and if you're supporting it right now, then you're fine with me muting you in the comments. Hey, Draco, keep being obedient, buddy. I know Donald is very thankful for your obedience, okay? I want you to understand that. He loves how creatively obedient and how obedient you can be in advance. You're the first one to go, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And when you start crying, because you're going to disagree with him at some point, and you can't do that with the guy who, what was he, bitten by a zombie? Does anybody know? Remember this? This is who you're obedient to. Oh, this is who you're obedient to. This guy. Draco, do you have a hat that says Draco is right about everything? You guys are this. This is how we see you, just so you know. Okay? Everybody's like, wait, what was all that tough talk about the government, you know, getting in your way? Anyways, release the files, guys. Really, he needs to. We're not going to forget. We're not going to forget. Loomer, oh my God. I seen a close-up picture of Loomer. Why do all the MAGA women, all these maggots, why do they all have that same very laminated, plasticky, have you noticed that? They're all blonde. They all look like, you know, you ran a laminating machine over them. It's terrifying. I don't know. I've always been like anti not looking like yourself. I don't know what you would call it. I got to play this German. I forgot. I wanted to play this. This is a German late night show host. Stefan. It says, Die Stefan Raab Show. I love foreign late night. That's what I was saying earlier. If we're really the land of the free, why can't we get late night from Netherlands and Denmark and Germany and the UK, the real UK channels, you know, not that BBC America crap. What? No, Lindsay, listen, Lindsay, you can get the BBC, but it's the Americanized version of the BBC. I talked about this earlier. And the only way to get like the BBC iPlayer, which everybody in the UK gets once they sign up for cable because it's included with whatever tax or whatever fee that they're paying, you can't get like certain shows, like the shows I like to watch. And it's so aggravating. Sometimes they do spread them out on different channels, but I'm saying like the authentic stuff, not like the filtered to America. But again, if you heard, maybe I'll play it again. The Dutch comedian. Here, I'll play a little bit of this for you again. This is a Dutch comedian, or no, let me play the German one, and then we'll play the Dutch one again. The Dutch one, they did a satire of Disney, making fun of Disney capitulating to Trump, being obedient to Trump, to get off the guy who said not nice things about Donald. You have to say nice things about Donald, or he is so sensitive he will get upset. He doesn't know how to change the channel, turn it off. And if you don't know, he's the president making news every day, so we have to talk about this, because at some point, if you say something that the government doesn't like and they come for you, you're going to pray that there are other people willing to stand up for you, even if I disagree. So here's a German late night show who's speaking in English. Love it. You know, he didn't do that early in the show, but I appreciate that, because I'm going to have to translate the other one for you. Talking about Kimmel.
Hello, Jimmy. This goes out to you. I'm Stefan. I'm doing entertainment shows in Germany.
I'm Stefan. I have to take that clip. We have to get that clip. Hold on. We have to get that clip. That's brilliant.
Out to you. I'm Stefan. I'm...
I love that. My God, that just made my day. Holy smokes.
Out to you. I'm Stefan. I'm...
Okay. Okay.
I'm Stefan. I'm...
There we go. Stefan. Beautiful. We got it. We got it, folks. Ready? Are you ready for this?
I'm Stefan. I'm doing entertainment shows in Germany for 30 years now, and I've...
Woo! 30 years in Germany. That's a pillar of the late night. That's what they call it, I think.
heard that they canceled your show. So I don't like that. And as I'm a big fan of yours and a big fan of uncensored entertainment.
Ooh, you hear that? Chiffon doesn't like that America, the American government is canceling Jimmy Kimmel and threatening to pull the licenses of the stations he's on. And he's a fan. Germany, this is Germany, is a fan of uncensored comedy.
I don't like that. And as I'm a big fan of yours and a big fan of uncensored entertainment,
Solidarity.
I offer you to take over my show whenever you want.
Damn. So Jimmy Kimmel could be doing a show in Germany, and he wouldn't have to worry about upsetting the chicken supreme leader over there, old Taco Trump. He wouldn't have to be worried about losing his job, and the president, and that's in Germany, not America. In Germany, they're saying, hey, you can come do jokes here. You can make fun of whoever you want. We're not sensitive babies.
Okay? We are prime time 2015 on Germany's #1 commercial channel. And of course, you can bring Guillermo as well. And to make the decision easier for you, drum roll, I offer you my salary.
Damn. And offered his salary. I wish he said I offer your staff my salary, because Kimmel's going to be fine. You know, Kimmel, he's probably okay. It's the salary. It's the people working part-time, the people, the writers, the staffing, the people that are seating people, the people that are doing the lighting. Those are the people you worry about. I don't know if they're show specific. I would imagine they are with that kind of caliber of a show. You know, the people that work for Jimmy Kimmel know exactly how he likes his lighting. And that sucks, you know, because think about it. Especially in a time where all the job numbers are so bad. Not a good time to lose your job. But, okay, so those of you who missed it, this is a Dutch comedian, guy from the Netherlands, Arjen Lubach, who is a comedian and satirical television presenter. He did a parody about Disney banning Kimmel's show. I'll read some of this from the subtitles. So Jimmy Kimmel's show has been canceled by Disney.
De show van Jimmy Kimmel is van de buis gehaald door Disney, omdat
Because Trump and a helpful bureaucrat, Brendan Carr, the FCC head,
Donald Trump met de hulp van een behulpzame toezichthouder bezig is om
are silencing everyone who dare criticize him.
iedereen die kritiek heeft de mond te snoeren. Trump
has broken the will of these companies. Well, companies don't have a will, a soul, a spirit. They don't stand up for you. They're not here to do anything besides try and take your money. And that's why right now you see Disney getting hit in the pocketbook. You know, if the only thing they care about is money, a lot of these people and corporations, they don't worship Jesus. I know a lot of MAGAs, the maggots claim to worship Jesus, but I'm sorry. These CEOs like Donald Trump, they worship money. That's it.
al die bedrijven dus echt totaal in zijn zak zit. En zelfs het
Even a giant like Disney is scared of him, he says.
grote Disney is dus als de dood voor Trump.
Everything has to be exactly how Trump likes it. That's so weird that people think that's American. Well, wait. Oh, they're not real people. They're the deep fakes. This is the AI bot Elon told us about. But it's so weird that there's like a culture in America now that people are obedient enough to be like, yeah, if the president doesn't like it, that's fine, and people should lose their job, and nobody should be able to do anything the president doesn't like. Like, we've basically gone in a circle from the revolution to say, like, no kings, we shouldn't have tyranny, the government can't tell you what to say, toughen up, buttercup government, to today, where we're back at people being like, yeah, don't upset the president, or you're going to lose your job because your ratings are bad. But the president also coincidentally didn't like you. That's it. That's totally it.
Moet nu gaan zoals Trump het wil. Alles moet
Everything has to be MAGA now.
MAGA worden. En als je naar de
And when you look at Disney's new plans,
nieuwe plannen van Disney kijkt, dan kun je dat ook wel
you can sort of see the results.
een beetje zien.
Our nation is changing. In order to ensure the continued provision of high-quality works to our audience, the Walt Disney Company acknowledges the necessity of adapting our content.
We bring you a whole new Disney. New stories to be.
And now, I don't have a photo of this, I should have taken it. Now they go to Beauty and the Beast, and it's Belle's dad, the old weirdo, the like rotund Jeffrey Epstein looking dude, holding on to Belle, and this is what he says.
Oh, Belle, you're so hot. If you weren't my daughter, I'd probably be dating you.
So Belle's going like this, and the dad's going, oh, Belle, you're so hot. If you weren't my daughter, I'd probably be dating you. Now, if you don't know where they got that from, that's what this creep said about his own kid. Oh, I'll tell you who the betas are. The betas are whoever's obedient to this guy. Just keep being obedient. You don't need to leave a comment. We know how tough you are. Right there. That's you. He was right about everything. Well, why doesn't he release the files? We're not forgetting. We're not going to forget. It is so funny. And I'm going to keep laughing at those jokes. So funny. When that was, listen, comedy always has a hint of truth, something unexpected. And that Belle scene from Beauty and the Beast where the dad's like, oh, Belle, you're so hot. If you were my daughter, I'd probably be dating you. That is the perfect. I would have never thought of that. So that hits me right in the good feels. Right in the good feels. It's so funny. Oh my God. So I highly encourage you to watch this. Just search Arjer, Arjen, Lubach, Lubach, Disney parody. You can find it. But trust me, it is worth. Well, I've watched this probably 20 times because it's so good. Oh, I miss working in radio. What else was in the news? There was something else in the news. You guys see this photo? Crazy. Oh, look at this. I've seen this. Economic performance by presidential party since 1990. Jobs created, 40 million. 1.5. Recessions, 0. 4. Annual GDP growth. Now, some of these numbers don't pertain to the working class. They don't help us. They're just fancy numbers that they like to bring economists on TV for you to feel like they know what they're talking about. But the average increase in median household up by 5,000, Democrats up by 800. And then the thing the Republicans all like to bark at, they love to chirp at this one. Deficit reduction from start to term, 7 billion, and the afford the wealthy people's tax cuts. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Unlimited edit. Always remember, it's not right versus left. It's the people versus the ultra rich. That's right. What does Graham Plattner always say? What does he say?
And the enemy is the oligarchy.
Random. Listen, Graham Plattner, main campaigner right now. Look him up. He says,
And the enemy is the oligarchy.
And a lot of you people out here, we're trying to show you that, you know, if you're wondering where all the money went, look at the people hoarding it all. There are people that are saying Elon's going to be a trillionaire. He's hoarding a lot of money that's not being recirculated, not spent at your local mom and pop shop, not being paid fairly to his employees. If you're wondering why people can't buy homes anymore and they're working 3 jobs and everybody's renting and BlackRock's buying up all the homes, you need to...
And the enemy is the oligarchy.
Understand that. But some of you are out here like this.
Yeah, we're all trying to find the guy who did this and give him a spanking.
That's what, when some of you Trumpers, when some of you maggots are in here being like, yeah, it's this group or that group. You remind me of the hot dog Tim Robinson sketch.
Yeah, we're all trying to find the guy who did this and give him a spanking.
Oh my God.
Watch me cook on this one.
We did. Oh.
Everything's computer.
Everything's computer. Oh my God. Brian, I do think Tesla SpaceX costs money. I just can't figure out why a billionaire needs our tax money to pay for it all. But again, keep asking questions. I encourage everyone, ask questions, because someday you might get to the right answer. But again, if you're asking the right questions and who you're asking, that's really what it depends on. And you should look into how much SpaceX gets from the government and where the government gets that money. If you're ever wondering where your taxes go, this is why I'm a big advocate for not only taxing billionaires into extinction. They shouldn't exist. They're not responsible with their money. But also, we should get receipts after we pay our taxes. We should get to see where that money goes. Anything else?
Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? And Jeffrey, as a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you.
That's Joe Rogan reading a birthday card Trump sent to Epstein. Oh my God. Elon is a con man, 100%. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Appreciate you guys. Did I play? Wait. Oh, there was another, that was the other thing. Did you guys hear David Letterman talking about the Kimmel thing? Did you hear that? I'll play a bit of it.
Tell us what you think about what happened last night to Jimmy Kimmel.
Well, this is a misery, and in the world of somebody who is an authoritarian, maybe a dictatorship, sooner or later everyone is going to be touched.
You hear that? Letterman's a wise dude. I like him. I like the beard he's rocking right now. Big, long, white beard. But he said, in a dictatorship, sooner or later, everyone's going to be touched. And I've tried to say that here on the channel many times. You may think, a lot of you young white guys and old white guys, you kind of became an amorphous amalgamation of a blob. And the sad thing is the young white guys like Tim Pool are sounding like the old white guys. You know, like, you kids shouldn't have your ears pierced. That's what he sounds like. Would you go to Claire's and get your ear pierced? You shouldn't be doing that. You should just be having reverence for the presidency, you know? Meanwhile, he's wearing a fucking beanie hat just to protect him from anybody seeing that he's bald. It's like, how would you stop wearing a beanie after 25? Shut up. Let your hair flow, Tim. Let your hair flow. But Letterman says sooner or later, everyone's going to get touched. And I've said, if you think you're immune from this because your beliefs, your skin, your age, your where you live, deep red country. Well, deep red country's finding out. And I feel bad for the kids, man. I always feel bad for the kids. Those Arkansas soy boy farmers. Trusted a grifter. That's what he's known for. That's what he does. He sues people and he grifts. He bankrupted a casino. A casino. He bankrupted it. A casino. Maybe you didn't understand what I said. And I try to tell him, it doesn't matter. You're on the list. You're just higher up. You're just not at the bottom. At the bottom of the list is the people that they know they could go after and won't cause much noise. But now they're starting to make their way up, you know? And sooner or later, you can't agree with everything this dude says, can you? I mean, some of you will try. Some of you guys will bend backwards, bend over, be like, yeah, this is fine. This is fine. Some of you will try to do that. But it don't matter. It don't matter. Like Letterman said, you know, everyone's going to get touched. I thought that was wise.
Somebody who's an authoritarian, maybe a dictatorship, sooner or later everyone is going to be touched. But this is me. For 30 years, I did this for a living. So I see this happen. They took care of Colbert. That was rude. That was inexcusable. The man deserves a great deal of credit. He's in the Hall of Fame 9 times. And to be manipulated like that because the Ellison family didn't want to trouble Donald Trump with this move, so they got rid of him. Not only got rid of him, got rid of the whole franchise. You're not going to have to worry about anything, Larry. It's all gone. It's fine. Good night. And then my good friend Jimmy Kimmel. I feel bad about this because we all see where this is going, correct? It's managed media, and it's no good. It's silly. It's ridiculous, and you can't go around firing somebody because you're fearful or trying to suck up to an authoritarian, criminal administration in the Oval Office. That's just not how this works.
I love Letterman. I used to watch him late night. I was sad when he left. When whatever happened. Poor Conan. But Kirk is not a hero. He was a racist. And because you're fine with people getting silenced, you take a time out for 24 hours. And let's be clear, racist, homophobia, protecting the status quo, transphobia, misogyny, that stuff ain't welcome here. So save it. Go to Tim Pool's thing and talk about Kirk. That dude is garbage, man. Garbage. He was paid by wealthy people to make you think everything's okay right now. You understand that? And everything's not. I don't care if you're a little neck of the woods, you say, well, I'm fine. I got a raise and I'm okay. The majority of Americans ain't doing well. The country ain't doing well. The economy, the jobs, the workers, the layoffs, the unemployment, the healthcare debt, the medical debt that only exists here in America, the lower lifespan, even though we pay more for other people, free Luigi. Look around, read the room. And that's what I advocate for, because we could have it awesome by now. If you go back and read what the robber barons and the cornflake capitalists and the garbage people like Henry Ford thought about the year 2020, they thought we'd be working 3 days a week. They thought with the technology, they won't even have to work that much. And that could be true. I advocate for a 3-day work week. And for all you who like to grind hard and I built something, you can, go ahead. We know you're doing it to hide from your family or you don't have friends. That's why we had to create the word incel. But for the rest of us who love to paint, draw, sing, act, ride bikes, play basketball, do whatever, we shouldn't have to be working this hard. We shouldn't. Nobody should have 2 jobs here in America. You should have 1 job, own your home, have healthcare paid for by billionaires' taxes. I know that's going to make some of you start to get upset, so let me pull it out. I drink your fascist tears. But we could have all that. It's just you're listening to people like they keep trying to celebrate in the comments that are paid to make you think, here, I'll play his clip. I'll play his fucking clip. He didn't advocate for anything, just so you know. He just advocated for it to stay this bad. And I'm old enough to remember before this shit was this bad. I remember when one person didn't need a college degree, could buy a house, and didn't have to have some career. They didn't need to do better, work harder, grind. You've been propagandized by the media. That's why I'm here, okay? That's why I'm here. So I can tell you that that's stupid, Nobody's going to ask on their gravestone to have it say, worked the hardest, employee of the month once. It's just not going to happen.
Your brain's cooked.
That's right, Joe Rogan.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
Well, nobody's protecting the First Amendment right now, but you understand what that is. That's saying, You just have to deal with it right now. And that's not true. When I was in school, we didn't have these drills, okay? And it's horrifying as a parent here in America that you got to come home to kids going, we had the drill today. Like, we don't have to accept this, but people who like him who are paid by the NRA will keep advocating to you that this is just okay. And why did they do it? Because they think it won't happen to them. They think the gated community, the area they live, the schools they send their kids to, it will never happen to them because it's the divide. It's not left versus right, folks. The wealthy are paying less wealthy people to convince you that everything's normal, everything's okay, status quo. Just be okay with it. What is traditional values? I keep seeing these maggots say traditional values. I'm like, what are your traditional values? Really? A guy that cheated on all his wives and has 5 kids by 3 different women and then says, you tell me if this is a traditional value where he mocks this person?
Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
Or is this traditional values?
I moved on her like a bitch, but I couldn't get there.
Or maybe this one is traditional values.
I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her.
Oh, my man.
But that's why he says,
Educated. I love the poorly educated.
he loves the poorly educated. And then what did he say today?
Smart people don't like me.
Smart people don't like him. That's why he loves the poorly educated. And I say,
Do you think we're babies?
do they? They do. So, I don't know what his traditional values about this, but interesting. Interesting. Bullying is very traditional. Thank you, dudes, Jules. That is very traditional. I guess you're correct. I stand corrected. Stuart, I wonder why the education system is so bad. Why do you think they attacked it, defund it, went after colleges? You guys are catching on. I like it. I like it. I think we're all starting to catch on. Oh, my goodness. And this is the president speaking right here.
Azerbaijan and Albania.
Azerbaijan and Albania. Oh, it's okay. And for the rest of you in the comments that keep trying to tell me what to do.
You're not the boss of me.
Watch me cook on this one.
Thank you, RM. Thank you. God. Where is my...
I can't believe it, but they don't want to admit it, but I can't believe it.
No, hold on. There we go.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. What is the charge?
Saying a joke? A succulent, awesome joke? Oh, the rest of that dude. Such a great man. Here we go.
Well, frickin' God!
Gotta hear some Chris Farley. Okay, guys. Have a good one. Make sure... And by the way, taxing millionaires and billionaires works. I made it several times in Washington, Massachusetts, collect $2 billion. Massachusetts that they all get lunch for free. So taxing wealth works. Some of you that will never exceed that $1 billion wealth are fighting against it, and the oligarchs love it. They love that you're doing their work for you. Remember, that's how like Germany came to be. They couldn't have police everywhere, and they weren't strong at first. And power usually doesn't panic, but they panic just like now. You see this regime panicking and trying to crack down on anyone who jokes about them. And what they do is they convince you to rat on people, to tell on people. You see these campaigns and you see all this stuff, and they want you to act in their stead because it's hard to crack down on 340 million people. Even though Trump said, what did he say? How many of them died? How many? Where was it? Donald Trump did say Even though there's 340 million people in America, he said.
And the fact that 300 million people died last year from drugs, that's what's illegal.
Wow, 300 million died last year from drugs, from your president. So, you know, just keep believing everything he says and being obedient. I'm sure it will work out. Yep. Economy in the 50s, if you look at the tax rate for corporations in the 50s and 60s, their tax rate was between 77 and 92%, I believe. We should just go back to that. But instead, workers voted for Donald Trump to cut taxes for their bosses and the corporations that run everything to 20%. So they're paying less than nurses and workers now. I don't know. It's weird because people go, you know, they keep doing the same stuff we've been doing. And I go, why don't we just try something new? Why don't we just tax the billionaires? Why not? Why are you so personally against that? It won't affect you. It's weird. People, stop doing work for the billionaires. Don't work for the oligarchs, okay? Stop being obedient. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Much love, much respect. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. If not, definitely on Monday. Peace.